Hello, my name is Shelly and welcome back for another episode of Ep13, it's Ethiopia. In previous episode we managed to finally capture these areas here, so we got the sulfur mines. Now we only got one mine there thus far. I'm taking a little bit of time off camera to set up the taxes a little bit better. I went for the middle option here just so that we'll have more money. We can accumulate a bit of a stockpile of cash. Especially since we will be fighting another war probably fairly soon. And for which we're actually going to have to start by taking away the interest from there and putting it in here. So the next target for us is Marina Kingdom. Now I know that our fleet is not strong enough and armies are not strong enough to do a landing in here. But if we can pull in France into this war on our side, then they can do the landing. They got pretty darn good troops and they got a large enough fleet that they can land in sufficient troops to actually get the bridgehead in there or the beach landing. And that way we can then just, if need be, send some of our own troops to help with the landing there. But first, France is fighting a war against Spain. Well, technically speaking, Messina and Spain. So we'll need to wait for them to complete that war first. And that gives us a bit of time to fix our economy. We've got quite a bit of list of things building. There's actually 2 pages. And once we get our tech that we're researching right now, which is 3 months away, we'll put in some ports as well into the list there. Actually, we might as well build another port over there already. And then put it on the list there, so we'll alternate with naval bases. So basically the idea is that we'll get up to 20 flotillas. That should, in theory, allow us to land in 20 troops without the penalty for not enough support, but there's still going to be the minus 25% penalty for our troops. Another thing that we should probably have a look at is how much artillery do we have? We actually are lacking a little bit, but that might just be down to the fact that we don't have enough iron. Yeah, it's 19% penalty there. Well, let's get the time rolling. We got another iron mine being built soon enough. Oh, pharmaceuticals unlocked. Excellent. That's going to lead to a few more things that will certainly interest us. I suppose, oh, egalitarianism is spreading. Now that we've got the... Let's have a look at the diplomatic lens, shall we? Alright, so there's Austria, Portugal, France, Britain. So Britain, I think I want to improve relations with you. I'm going to improve relations with Austria. Portugal, we already got pretty good relations, so I don't think I need to worry about that one. And the Marina Kingdom, we are just going to start damaging the relations now. I'm pretty sure that they will start improving the relations with us as soon as they get the chance. So the effect is going to be somewhat limited, I reckon. Now we got a movement to enact censorship. Well, it doesn't have that much support yet, so I'm not particularly worried. Right, we're getting a port on Hejaz already soon. And also, in the last episode we had the problem where the infrastructure was used way too much by the trade center, so that has been patched a little bit, so it's only 1 level of infrastructure for every 10 trade centers. So at least that's a little bit more manageable in terms of the infrastructure, and that also helps with a lot of other things, including we probably have a bit more lead now. Well, we still are lacking a bit. We are going to be building another lead mine in here. And I suppose there's a few things that we can do. We could switch this to... Well, actually, we don't have the iron, so switching that is not going to work. And then, of course, there's the water tube boilers, but we have no coal yet. We could buy some from the French, for example, but how much we'll be actually able to get is going to be limited, so it's probably going to be much better for us just to get Marina and then start building coal mines there. The paper mills is another thing that we could maybe get some extra in there, but the sulfur price is already pretty darn high, so it's going to be somewhat limited. Effectiveness, we could maybe go for the mechanized looms. That's going to reduce the labor use over here quite drastically, and at the same time it releases some of the workforce to work on other places, because there is definitely lack of workers in fairly few of the businesses in here. Oh, another thing that I suppose I should do is on the livestock ranches over here, we can put in the intensive grazing. That does increase the grain price a little bit, but we can also put in maybe the butchering tools, or the tool consumption is going to go up too much probably. But that's going to give us a bit more fabric and fertilizer, not that we necessarily need them. And also it does increase the demand for grains, which I don't think we can really increase at this point, other than building some more farms. But the problem is we just don't have a lot of infrastructure in most places, so the only place where we can realistically speaking build more is either a little bit in Somaliland, but we already got a few things, well, some mines already being built there, plus the naval bases, but the naval bases aren't going to be a problem. Now, ooh, actually, I remember now, we need to, oh wait, no, it's already cargoable, never mind. We might want to get another level of the shipyard soon, although perhaps not quite yet. We've got about 500,000 loyalists and about 1.5 million radicals. So, and that radical number is actually slowly climbing up, but we did increase the taxes recently, so that's a problem. And the money that we're getting is, well, it's slowly balancing, I'd say. We are getting the logging camp in here, but since we're agrarian, the only ways that we're getting the investment pool money is if we build farms. Speaking of which, we do have some plantations underway. We've got a dye plantation and a tobacco plantation, but those are pretty far away still. And since we don't have enough iron to run our industries anyway, increasing our construction industry is probably not the best idea unless we go back to just using the wood and fiber. I mean, we've got plenty of fiber. How much do we have wood, I suppose, is a good question. We're lacking about 200. The price isn't too bad, though. Oh, there we go. We've got the hydraulic cranes. I'm going to go for the rifling next because that's going to allow, well, once we get some steel production, we can switch the arms production to be a little bit more effective. Of course, right now we can't afford that. How is the standard of living over here? It is 13.8, so it's higher than average. So I'm going to cancel the emergency relief over there, and I will probably put it in here because this one's struggling. So put emergency relief over there. It does cost a bit of points, but that's fine. But, you know, increasing the standard of living over here in such a... well, at least if we can get it to 10 average or something like that, that would already be improving a decent bit. Right, so how's the French war? France has lost a lot of land over here. They've not gotten through the Spanish border yet. There seems to be combats in there. Also, if we zoom in, that might cause some lag spikes here, which is a bit of a problem. So I'll probably just focus down here for the time being. But yeah, we just need to keep an eye on once the French are no longer in war. And then we can potentially call them into our war against the Marina. Now, Marina is now improving relations with us already. Not gonna expel the diplomat quite yet. We'll just let that be as is. Oh, right. Right, we've got the max relations with Britain right now. Alright. I mean, that's not too bad. 10 weeks and we're gonna get the arms industries upgrade, which would be quite useful. The total population is well over 11 million now. It's probably going to be growing quite a bit. So after we've taken Marina, or Madagascar basically, what we'll probably do is we'll spend some time industrializing. And then after that is our eyes will be turned towards Egypt. If we can get to the northern shores of Egypt over here, we can start building a fleet over there. And in theory, we might be able to start planning the war against Italy. Of course, that is going to be very difficult. They got a massive fleet overall, plus they got a massive amount of troops, and we'll need to switch to professional army or even the mass conscription to be able to sort of fight them off. But right now, as it is, I mean, we got pretty massive amount of conscripts. Actually, what we should probably do is go ahead and we will take this one and upgrade the barracks to be using. Actually, we don't produce ammunition yet, but the mobile artillery. It's not going to increase the price too much. We'll start getting some of the more advanced units here. There's a diplomatic player in Jabal Shamar. So the bourgeoisie revolts. Ah, okay. Right, so once that is done, I think we still got a bit of a lack of... oh, actually, no, I think the iron... well, there's still probably some iron lacking, let's be honest. Yeah, the price is still 67% higher than base price. So we can't really increase the productions too much. That's going to be taking a decent bit of iron already, I reckon. And it's also going to be hiring quite a few people. 60 iron and 30 hardwood. Okay, well, the iron is something that we can maybe do a few things about, but not all that many, unfortunately. Ah, Britain has got on truce with Ashanti over here, and then Spain is being occupied by the French now. There's another revolution in northern Germany. Radical Northern German Federation, what is your politics there? Absolute monarchy? Both are absolute monarchy, but it's basically the rural folk are rising up against the... okay, well, sure. Against the odds. Despite not enjoying full rights under Ethiopian law, some wealthier Sunni people have begun moving into neighborhoods and frequenting establishments they would normally be excluded from. Yeah, if the church loses a little bit of approval rating, we'll probably be still fine. If we have a look at the interest groups, they are still... a little bit loyal, so they still give us the extra 10% authority, which does mean more taxes. Oh, Jabal is importing some guns from us. Alright, I'm not entirely surprised by that. It's the... well, the artillery price isn't too massive. How much do we use right now? There should be 39, but there isn't. There should be actually 45. Okay, so this is without the boost for the... Well, throughput is basically now the same as if it was without the boost and full employment. But I'm pretty sure that we don't use that much artillery ourselves, do we? We use 40. And the guns we use a lot more. So that is a bit limited, unfortunately. Right, so the French War, is that over yet? Nope. It most certainly isn't. They're fighting over there. Although, looks like Messina has been occupied. For the most part. There's some pockets now here that they're taking care of. And the Spanish front is certainly going well for the French, I would say. Right, so we've got a bit of extra influence. Looks like Austria is slowly enjoying us. Well, starting to like us a little bit more. Now, we definitely want to have the coal mines in here. So if we do a war against the Madagascar, we have two options to call in France in with. One, we can open up the, we can only take the southern half and open up the North Madagascar, or the Marina Kingdom's markets. And that usually brings the French in. I've done a few tests. And alternatively, if there's some other nations joining in, so we can call in France and maybe open up their markets. If it's Uganda might work, although there might be some tweaks already in there, which means that it probably won't happen. But if there's also... I don't know if they want any land from Portugal, maybe. I wouldn't mind having some land from Portugal, to be fair. Zambezia does have some good stuff in there. For example, now over here there's nothing being researched there. We could just get the Bessemer process done a bit faster. Double that speed. In the meanwhile, we'll get some of the military stuff underway. But yeah, now we could increase to the rifling, but it requires steel, which we don't produce yet, and we don't have any in our market either. We're getting a bit of extra money though, which is quite nice. Cruise frigate is spreading. Okay, so that's going to be the tech to build more reinforced wooden ships, but that requires engines and a lot of hardwood, so I don't think that's necessarily that useful. Once in the society, there was the egalitarianism. Okay, so that's not really something that we need right now. I mean, it wouldn't hurt necessarily, but it's not something we need desperately. We could just go ahead and continue helping with the military research. That's at least one option. We could, of course, always go for something like the improved fertilizer, because we will have the chemical plants up and running in the near future. And it's going to be putting out a lot of fertilizer, so if we were to use the fertilizer a bit more, that'd be useful. Of course, another thing, there's the reinforced concrete for the extra construction speed. Dynamite would be nice, so that if and when we start producing explosives, before we start... Well, I suppose we should build our munitions factory soon. Or put that at least on the list, so we can upgrade our infantry into the skirmish infantry. The dynamite would be quite useful, especially since that is going to allow us to mine more from our mines, but that does require explosives production, and I don't know if we will have enough in there. But I think we are going to go with the... We're going to go with the fertilizer, just so that we'll have plenty of food. And the food is cheap, so that is going to reduce the radicals, hopefully. And the loyalists have gone down a little bit as well, which is not great, admittedly. Right, there's one of the logging camps down over here. Well, another one of the logging camps down over here. Oh, and we got on one of the iron mines as well, didn't we? Yep, we did. So that means that the shortage of... let's actually have a look. Is that in... over here? Industrial goods. So... the iron price is still pretty high, admittedly. And lead price is through the roof. And so is the sulfur price. Among other things. But I think... oh, and the tool price is relatively high, but it's not too bad yet. So we could certainly afford increasing some of the productions. For example, over here... well, actually, that requires coal, so maybe not that one. I'm pretty sure that there was something else that I wanted to use the tools for. We already started using that. We could put in this one. So there would be a little bit more extra dye consumption. Or extra fabrics even over here. You know what? We'll put in the sewing machines. That's going to be at least more cloth production, which will drop the price, admittedly. But, you know, it's things that the people will utilize. It's going to start increasing the standard of living, which, you know, means a bit more stability. Although, once you increase the standard of living, the people will start demanding more, and so forth. So it's it can sort of railroad you into a certain direction. And that oligarchy, Right, okay. And an extension. So we've got 2 movements. I don't think we have a lot of laws that we can realistically speaking pass, though. Or laws that we want to pass. That would be only 4% chance. Like, most of the laws that we could pass right now are 4% chance, which isn't necessarily all that good for us. We're going to have another election season soon enough, though. Right, France, how's your war going? I think you are winning now. The war leader is Spain, and there's no one else in there anymore on the enemy side. They opened the Messina markets, so I guess that's good for them. The French, that is. But yeah, I suspect that the Spanish will be losing this soon enough. Once that war is over, we can start planning our own war. So at this stage, I think it's time to expel the diplomats from Marina. It's going to increase our infamy a little bit, but we'll have some time to reduce it, so it's not going to be too bad. In the meanwhile, it's going to allow us to do a few more things. So we're increasing our relations with Austria still. Hopefully we can get at least to 20, so that's going to be cordial relations, and that way they are less likely to join in a war against us once we declare our own war. Oh, look at that. The revolution seems to have won. Well, they've not won yet, but I think they will. Well, that's one of a kind, I suppose. Would you be willing to join my market? I could form a defensive pact with you, but I don't know if that's necessarily good. Invite to customs union, minus 44. So even if we give them... No, I don't think we'd be able to do that. I'm just going to accumulate a little bit of money. We've got 1 million right now, called reserves, but once we start fighting a war, it's going to be fairly expensive. So the benefits are going to be somewhat limited. How's the cannon situation? We're lacking 6. I believe we could produce more than that. Admittedly. How bad is the arms industry? They just haven't hired enough. I suppose since there's not enough demand for the cannons, for example. Let's go ahead over here and increase the level to mobile artillery. That doesn't mean that these troops are having a bit of penalty for a year. Well, actually, these ones probably not anymore, quite that long. But it's still a bit of a long distance, or long time that we need to wait before we can sort of move forward with all that. Okay, Austria is now cordial. Excellent. Small arms price is going down, so... Oh, right, because the artillery price went up, or the demand for artillery went up, so they started producing more, and that way there's more small arms being produced as well. So overall, not bad. Oh, the rivalry ended, so I'm guessing Spain... Yeah, the French are no longer at war. So I think it might be time for us to do our diplomatic play over here. So conquer... Actually, North Madagascar. Conquer state, South Madagascar. It is going to increase our infamy quite a bit. They'll have a decent bit of troops as well. But we'll start this play. We'll see who they'll call in. There's Austria still leaning towards them. That's not great. As well, Portugal. And Bunyoro. We'll see who they call in. They put in the humiliate and war reparations war goals. I believe France will not accept that sway. Interesting. Well, depends... Oh, never mind, now they would. I could call in even Austria if I wanted to. Austria does have a lot more troops than France, but France has a bigger navy, and I believe they got higher quality troops overall. So the France would be the one that we want to invite. We'll wait for a little bit, though, before things happen, just to see who joins on the enemy side, what sort of war goals can we use. But before the timer ends... Oh, well, Britain joined on the enemy side, alright. France... open market, marine market. So we won't be able to take the northern Madagascar this war, but that's fine. In the next war, eventually when that happens, we'll at least be able to have troops already in here from the get-go. There we go. So Britain has joined and France have joined. There's probably not a lot of war goals that I can put, although there might be some. There's over there, for example. I don't know if there's any stuff over here that I want to do. Probably not. But both sides have pretty large fleets, I reckon. Oh yeah. Okay, so I suppose what I should do is go ahead and activate at least one of the generals, just in case. Gonna be this one, because I know that that one doesn't have the penalty for the troop quality right now. Whereas over here, well, actually these don't seem to have it either anymore. So we could probably mobilize the Gondar battalions. It is going to be a little bit costly, though. Right, is there anyone else joined yet? Not yet. Oh, there we go. They got Portugal. So what I could do against Portugal is I could maybe have a war goal for Zambezi, and that would be a decent bit of iron. Or if we go over here all the way south, that would be more coal. That one doesn't have either one. Because if we go over here, that would open up a potential for expansion over here towards South Africa. There's a lot of gold in these two states. At least in this one. There's 10 gold mines potential over there, and 16 over here, okay. And then Zululand, of course, has a lot of coal. So that would be an alternative route to getting more stuff there. But the question is, of course, do we have the troop quantities for this? They can't... Well, they actually could call in someone still. Alright, have a look. So they call in favors with both of those. I can't call in anyone else, but I'm assuming that the French will be sufficient in this. They got a larger fleet than the British have, oddly enough. I could put in a war goal on Portugal for sure. As long as it's something over here that we can conquer. If it's something on the mainland like war operations or something like that, well, I don't know about war operations, but I know that I had in one of my test games. Oh, there's a war between Austria and North German Federation about to happen. I see, so that's why they're not joining against me necessarily. How bad is my infamy though? I think that's something that we need to check first. We are a bit infamous, already at 32. So that's more radicals from Conquest. We could call in a treaty port, I suppose, but no, I think we're going to go for Conquer State. And Zambezi has a smaller one. That has more iron. We could start making that our iron mines, essentially. Although, ooh, oh, Mozambique is 35. Oh, we can't take the southern area because we don't have interest in there. Right, well, Zambezi it is. That's another 17 infamy. That'll probably be all the infamy that we can afford. Right, so we got some infantry in here, hopefully ready. We shall send in the big one to attack on that side, or at least maybe hold the side, ground there. Have they called in anyone else yet? Not yet. They will probably be able to, though. There's one allied battalion over there, and then we'll have R-22. I wonder if they'll call in any one of the Great Lake nations over here. Or Lake Victoria and all that. They've got a lot mobilized. They've got 100 ships mobilized as well. Which is mostly the British, I suppose. They haven't called in anyone else in. I don't think there's a lot of war goals that I can put in anymore, so that's probably not going to be the biggest issue. I do wonder, though, if they are going to try to do a landing on my land, so I suppose at this stage we should probably go ahead and mobilize the last army as well. So thus far, it seems... Oh, there's a lot of French going over there. Interesting. Which means that they'll probably get pushed over here next. Or soon after. So in fact, we might want to... Actually, I'm going to... Just to be on the safe side, I've seen it... Well, I had the game crash several times when I click on the stuff over here. So I'm just going to go through the military menu right now. I know that you could click through here, but sometimes it bugs through there as well. Okay, unfairly denied entry. Oh, that is... Yeah, that's a... I'm just going to take the penalty for the authority. We still have enough. I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so it's going to be me and France versus Marina, Britain, and Portugal. Now, since we didn't put any war goals on Portugal, not Portugal, Britain, then it's a possibility that if we can beat them enough somewhere, then they will just step out of the war without, you know, staying forever, which would be useful. And the war has broken. Let's go to speed 3 just in case, because there might be a lot of things happening. Right, so, oh wow, there's 200 battalions coming in here. Okay, there's one battalion from the French attacking. Now, they will be getting some reinforcements, no doubt. And these are pretty good compared to the enemies. What do they have? They've got skirmish infantry, the mobile artillery, and field works. They don't have bad stuff, but the French have... English line infantry. Hold on a minute. English line infantry. What? What do they have in there? They've got shrapnel artillery, hand-tracked machine guns, and bicycle messengers, commander trait, expert artillery commander. Oh, wow. Okay. That's a bit of a surprise. But yeah, my troops are mostly just defending in there. I do wonder if the British are going to try to do a landing in somewhere. I mean, if they are, they're probably going to do that in France, which means that they'll probably do a bit of a landing there, then they'll get pushed back. I hope. But now with the war, I believe, yeah, the French are a negotiating partner. Whereas Portugal isn't, or Portugal is as well. Britain isn't. So Britain is more likely to step out of the war. Since, you know, they got nothing to lose if they just step out at some point. Right, so there's that battle going to take a long while. Yeah, they did capture the island over there, I presume. Population is increasing. The standard of living has increased a tiny bit, as well as the literacy rate. What are we researching right now? We're getting the improved fertilizer, which didn't start... Oh, it's spreading the dynamite. We can probably stop damaging the relations with Marina, by the way. We don't need to worry about that one right now. But this battle is going to take forever. Of course, the one French battalion is going to win this, because they just use artillery for everything, essentially. There's a bit more casualties taken. Army offense, okay. Oh, right, so the attack values are technically larger, but... Oh, now it's Polish line infantry. Okay. So it just decides to switch the nationality from there. Or which nationality is the majority in that battalion. Alright then. We are getting another admin center, or government administration over here. Actually, is it built in here? No, I think it's built... Oh, in Gondar, right. And that's going to get us to level 5 in there, which is going to be quite useful. So we've got 2 movements, but neither one of them has a lot of support, so I don't think I need to worry about those. We've got 270 battalions over there. Oh, there's some battles between the British and the French over here. I wonder who's going to be winning. Looks like the French have actually pushed a little bit. How much exactly remains to be seen, though. Or is it the other way around? Actually, I don't know. Well, there's a battle where the French are definitely winning. So I would say that the French are probably pushing further and further. And then they got technically a front over here into Sahara. So I'm guessing they might not be doing landings, because if they got other fronts to push troops into, the landings are always a bit uncertain, to say at least. But that front is just staying put there. We got most of our troops still garrisoned in Ethiopia, in case they try to do a landing. Of course, I don't think my troops will be enough to hold back the British if they do a landing, although we might be able to inflict some casualties. But against the Portuguese, we might stand a chance, at least defending, not necessarily attacking. Because I'm pretty sure that they still got better quality troops overall than what we do. In other constructions, actually, how much do we still lack iron? Oh, we don't actually lack iron anymore. Especially we build a few mines, that does certainly help the situation, although there might also be just less demand for iron right now, for some reasons. Let's have a look at the total prices. So, small arms prices still through the roof, as well as sulfur and lead. We didn't get the chemical plant over here yet, no. We'll put in the munitions plant over there already, because I'm hoping that by that point, when it's actually something that we can produce, it will be... Well, we'll sort of fix the amount of sulfur and lead that we produce. Mostly, it's just once we get coal, we can get or improve things a lot. But until we do, then it's going to be a little bit delayed, I'd say. Right, so how bad is the British war support now? They are still at 82, which is lower than what the French have, or anyone else for that matter. The Marina still have the highest because they did not spend any troops attacking anywhere. The French are attacking against some garrisons over here in, well, in a lot of areas over there towards Sahara. And over here, this one battle is still going on. They lost already almost 300 men, the French, but they've wounded 4,000 and killed 1,000. So that's a bit of slaughter in there, I would say. And it's just one battalion. If you have a look at the details and total number of troops, the French have basically lost nothing. And the Portuguese have lost already about 60% of their manpower in there. Right, the chemical plant is the next one being built. Oh, and then we start building the naval bases, so that means that our fleet will increase to 20 eventually. It's going to take a while before it's all of that done, but we'll get that done slowly but surely. So I presume we've got plenty of wood right now. Not all that plenty, but we've got wood. And the price isn't too bad, so we don't really need to worry about the wood for a while. I mean, that is going to be the last level for the thing anyway. But it would appear that we are actually out of time for this episode. So if you enjoyed this, please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Also got the links down below in the description. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.